Let's summarize all of the tenses in German one more time. As we already learned, every language needs to include at least 3 tenses. One past form, one present form, and one future form. Because in every language it needs to be possible to talk about the present, to talk about the past, and to talk about the future. But that's only the bare minimum. Most languages have more than just 3 tenses, and English even has 12. 6 past tenses, 2 present tenses, and 4 future tenses. Makes a total of 12. German only has half of that amount. We have 3 past tenses, the Präteritum, the Perfekt, and the Plusquamperfekt, 1 present tense, the Präsens, and 2 future tenses, Futur 1 and Futur 2. Let's take a look at each of them. We'll start with the present tense, our Präsens. The Präsens is like the normal tense. It's the most used tense in German, and it's our equivalent of the simple present and present progressive in English. Some example sentences are, for example, Ich gehe zur Schule, ich gehe zur Schule, lernt Deutsch, and Sie schauen einen Film. Sie schauen einen Film. In order to form the presence, we first need to get the root of the verb. We do this by taking the infinitive, which in German is characterized by the ending en, and all we need to do is leave out the ending en. So for example, the root of the verb gehen, to go, is geh, and the root of the verb lernen, to study, is lern. And also the root of the verb schauen is schau. Once we have the root, all we need to do is add the presence endings. And they are for the first person singular, st for the second person singular, t for the third person singular, n for the first person plural, t for the second person plural, and again n for the third person plural. So for example, if we take the verb machen, to make, we would conjugate it like this. Ich mache, du machst, sie es macht, wir machen, ihr macht, and sie machen. So that's the Präsens, our most used and probably also easiest tense. Up next, we'll take a look at the past tenses, in German Vergangenheitsformen. Vergangenheitsformen. Here we have the Präteritum, the Perfekt, and the Plusquamperfekt. The Präteritum is our equivalent of the simple past in English. It's again formed by taking the root, and then we don't add the presence ending like in the Präsens, but the Präteritum ending. Those endings are t, test, t, ten, tet, and ten. Unlike the simple past in English, we use the Präteritum mostly in written language. The other form that we use more often is the Perfekt. It's mainly used in spoken language, and it's the German equivalent of the present perfect and present perfect progressive in English. It is formed by taking the Hilfsverb or auxiliary verb sein or haben and then adding the Partizip 2. So sein or haben, to be or to have in their conjugated versions, so ich bin, du bist, sie es ist, wir sind, ihr seid and sie sind, or ich habe, du hast, sie es hat, wir haben, ihr habt and sie haben, plus the Partizip 2 of the verb that you're actually using. Now, if you're wondering what the Partizip 2 was, it's the German version of the past participle. For example, played, made, talked, been, and so on. Those are all examples for the Partizip 2. In German, examples would be, for example, gemacht, getan, gewollt, and so on. The regular Partizip 2 forms are formed by taking the root of the verb and then adding ge at the front and t at the back. But there are also some irregularities that we will take a look on in just a few seconds. Let's first focus on our final past tense, the Plusquamperfekt, the past perfect. It is used for actions that happen even further in the past than something else, no matter whether it's in written language or in spoken language. It is actually the least used past tense in German. And we form it by using the Präteritum or simple past forms of sein and haben, to be and to have. So for example, ich war, du warst, sie es war, wir waren, ihr wart, and sie waren in the case of sein, to be, and ich hatte, du hattest, sie es hatte, wir hatten, ihr hattet, and sie hatten in the case of haben, to have. The rest is exactly the same as in the perfect, we just add the Partizip 2, which doesn't change. So the Plusquamperfect can basically be described as the Präteritum of the perfect. It's basically a mixture of these two tenses. In order to make the difference clearer, let's have a look at some example sentences. For example, I went, in German would be ich ging, Präteritum. Ich ging, the corresponding perfect form would be ich bin gegangen. Ich bin gegangen. I have gone. And the corresponding Plusquamperfect form would be ich war gegangen. I had gone. Ich war gegangen. Let's have another example. This time we start with they won. Sie gewannen. Sie gewannen. Again, this is a Präteritum form, a simple past form. And the corresponding perfect form would be sie haben gewonnen. They have won. Sie haben gewonnen. They have won. And the corresponding Plusquamperfect would be sie hatten gewonnen. They had won. Sie hatten gewonnen. Got it? So now let's have a look at the irregularities. I already mentioned that all of these tenses have irregular forms, and we can find them in the three forms of irregular verbs. Remember, in the additional material you can find a table with all of these forms, and they consist of the infinitive, the first word, which is for example kommen, to come. This one is not irregular, but it shows you which verb it is. Then we have the second form, in this case kam, came. The Präteritum form, or simple past form, ich kam. And in the Präteritum, we then use this form as our root. So we would conjugate it like this. Ich kam, du kamst, es kam, wir kamen, ihr kamt, and sie kamen. And the same goes for all of the other irregular verbs. You just need to look for the second form, and then you use it as your root. The third form that we have is the Partizip 2, in this case gekommen. Gekommen. This is probably the easiest because it doesn't need to be conjugated. You just need to look it up in the table and then you have your Partizip 2. So let's repeat that one more time. If you have an irregular verb in the Präteritum, you just need to look for the second form of the three forms of irregular verbs. And if you have an irregular verb in the perfect or Plusquamperfect, you look for the third form, the Partizip 2. Everything else stays the same. The past tenses are probably the hardest part of German. Now let's move on to a more easier part. The only kind of tenses that we now have left are the future tenses, or Zukunftsformen in German. Zukunftsformen. Here we have the Futur 1, future 1, Futur 1, and the Futur 2, future 2. The Futur 1 is used in almost all cases, and it's the German version of the will future, going to future, and future progressive. The Futur 2, on the other hand, is only used in about 1% of all cases, and it's used to talk about things that will be over at some point in the future. For example, wir werden gesehen haben. We will have seen. You see, this is something that is pretty rarely used. But this shows you how important the Futur 1 is, because we use it in almost 99% of all cases when we talk about the future. The Futur 1 is formed by taking the conjugated version of the verb werden, to become, werden, and then you add the infinitive of the original verb. For example, wir werden sehen, we will see. Wir werden sehen. So it's basically really close to the will future in English, with the slight difference that werden needs to be conjugated. So basically in the future all you need is this simple form. Not for like in English. The other one, the Futur 2, is also nice to know, but it's not that important. But to make this a complete course about the tenses, let's look at its formation as well. Unfortunately, the Futur 2 is much more complicated than the Futur 1. It's also formed by taking the conjugated version of the verb werden, to become, but then we don't add the infinitive, we move on with the Partizip 2. Remember, the Partizip 2 is formed by taking the root of the verb and then adding ge at the front and t at the back. But it can also be irregular, and in that case it's the third form of our three forms of irregular verbs. But that's still not it. When we have the Partizip 2, we still have to add sein or haben. Luckily only their infinitive, so we don't need to conjugate them. In most cases we use haben, but if we have a verb that involves some form of movement or action, we use sein. For example, wir werden gesehen haben. We will have seen. Wir werden gesehen haben. Here we have the conjugated version of the verb werden, to become, in this case wir werden, we become. The Partizip 2 of sehen, to see, which is gesehen, seen, gesehen. And then haben, the infinitive of haben, to have. Wir werden gesehen haben. Good. And that's it. Those are all tenses in German. 3 past tenses, 1 present tense, and 2 future tenses. If you made it until this point, then congrats! But your journey doesn't need to be over. What are some possible next steps? That's the topic of our next video. Bis gleich. See you soon.